Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to a matchup today. We have No F's Given taking on Red Dusk Esports. We are about ready to hop into Pro Draft shortly. My name is Evolve. I will be on play-by-play today. I am joined by Cinco Gazer as the color. We have Nick behind the desk. How are we doing today, Cinco?
Doing all right. A little bit tired, but I'm looking forward to this matchup. It's a pretty important one for RDs, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it'll turn out.
Yeah, there's definitely playoff implications of this matchup for both teams. As we are getting into champion select here, we do see the Kennen taken off the board, targeting Virtual Trap here. So in particular in this matchup, is there anything you think we should focus on watching, whether it be mid lane, bot lane? What do you think the focus should be?
Well, typically I would say it would be important to watch out for RD's jungle, but unfortunately Pig is being subbed out for this game for Janj, who recently changed his name to Angry Troglodyte. It's probably going to have a big influence on the matchup because I think that Pig is by far and above the most consistent playmaker on RD, so it's going to take a lot of adaptation from them to really overcome the fairly strong roster that NFG has built over the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, we do see some additional bans coming through. The Zed taken away from KTA mid, the Akali taken away from KTA mid. We've seen KTA take over games on that champion, so drawing a lot of bans there. Swain off the board for No F's Given, and also taking that power pick away, Urgot, as well as the Camille, which has been seen as a flex pick here.
RD going with 3 top lane bans here.
Yeah, so it definitely seems to be both teams know who to fear on each other's team. Interestingly enough, though, we do see the Varus left open for Piercing Arrow. So it'll be interesting to see if NFG just first picks that. Wow, they're actually hovering the Lucian here. So that's interesting enough to see. They do lock in the Lucian.
Yeah, I know that Pengu likes to play Braum quite a bit, so it looks like they want to set up the ideal Braum lane here, but we are going to see RD pick that away, unfortunately, for NFG.
Yeah, and that's probably a really good pick here. Braum has been known as one of the more powerful supports as of lately. With his concussive blows, his Glacial Fissure, Winter's Bite, providing a lot of CC and getting those aggressive bot lanes ahead. We do see that paired with a Xayah today here.
Not a big fan of the Xayah pick. Would have preferred to see something like, I don't know, Misfortune or really anything else other than Xayah. I don't think that Xayah really pairs with Braum that well.
I'd have to agree with you on that one there, and you do see that power, that kind of second power bot support Alistar being locked in for NFG. So they definitely still have a very strong bot lane as they are hovering their jungle Zac here. I just don't think the synergy's there for Xayah Braum.
Nah, it really isn't. They don't really work that well together. There is some inherent synergy with being able to hop to Xayah before she goes invulnerable and throws the feathers, but it really just doesn't work out that well. Also, Xayah herself is in a fairly weak state right now. I think probably one of the lower win rate 80 carries in the game. I would have liked to have seen a stronger pick to pair with Braum, who can really be a pretty big lane aggressor.
Yeah, I agree. We do see the Jarvan locked in for the side of RDE. So both teams are opting to draft their bot lane and the jungler here. And what that allows both teams to do is to continue their target bans. So we do see another top lane ban for RDE, and I wouldn't be surprised to see NFG take another 2 mid lane bans off the table here. Interestingly enough, they're not really targeting Harbinger's Aatrox, which we've seen him play a lot. And also with the Darius buffs, I would be interested to see where he falls in this meta. I know you're a top laner. What do you think about the top lane meta and this new patch?
Well, I mean, Darius is pretty impressive versus tanks, so I'm definitely interested to see if anyone else in GXPC picks him up. But as for this specific matchup, I'm pretty sure they actually want to let Harbinger's Aatrox go through. Virtual Trap, well, I'm going to eat my words in a second, but Virtual Trap really has only shown himself to be super proficient on 2 top laners, both of which are Yasuo and Kennen. And Yasuo is very, very strong against Aatrox, can dash through the minions to pretty much avoid all of Aatrox's very telegraphed damage. So I had assumed that they were going to let the Aatrox go through so they could counterpick it with the Yasuo. but they went with Scion instead, which is a pretty good pick. But I don't think I've seen Virtual Trap play that champion, and I am a little iffy on it.
Yeah, I mean, we have seen how strong the Scion has been as of late. A lot of teams are picking him up. I know we've seen you've played him a few times. Freshburger, Maverick, they've all kind of adapted the Scion as a priority pick. But I don't know. You give Harbinger the champion he wants, and you don't really counter pick. I would have much rather even seen like a Poppy or something in this scenario. Um, Okay, we just got word that the Skarner pick is an Ari, so it is not the dreaded Skarner mid or Zac mid. It is an Ari pick here for Slivering Dingus in the mid lane here. But yeah, I mean, is Scion going to be the monster that he has been in this patch, do you think?
Oh yeah, he's still easily the best top lane tank in the entire game. Really, only rivaled by Ornn's teamfight utility and Cho'Gath's ability to kind of get into a teamfight to one shot somebody with his ultimate. But I think that Scion has the best balance out of damage, survivability, and tankiness out of any real top lane tank in the game right now. I don't think that he can really be contested by any other tank pick.
All right, yeah. So he still is obviously strong there. We do see the Cassiopeia picked for KTA mid in that mid lane here. So we do see both compositions kind of coming through here. Let's start with NFG. What do you think they picked well, and what do you think their win condition is coming into this game?
Their win condition is definitely to start the game just very aggressively. They have to crush the early game, otherwise they're going to get outscaled by the Cass and Zaya probably somewhere around the 25-28 minute mark if RDE makes it there, which I would be surprised if they do, considering that their comp is very, very weak early game, and even mid game isn't really that strong. You know, mid game we see Cassiopeia start to pick up a little bit. Scion starts stacking his W passive, gets maybe 600-700 bonus HP from it. Doesn't really die all that often from there. But the thing is, like, NFG has this just supremely crushing early game with Aatrox solutions. So I definitely want to see a lot of plays around the bot lane. I think is going to be the lane of contention here.
Yeah, and NFG, if you've watched them this season, that's something that Arrow does extremely well. He is so oppressive in these bot lanes. So if there's any weakness shown in the bot lane of RDE, Arrow is one of the players that will really take advantage of that. So I think NFG really had a good idea of what they wanted to do with their composition, because they drafted that early game comp with the Aatrox, the Alistar, the Lucian, and even the Zac is going to be able to get these early ganks off there. So, you kind of mentioned a little bit about Red Dusk's draft. You kind of mentioned that they need to scale up there, but do you think they're going to be able to survive through that early game enough to make that happen?
NFG hasn't been the cleanest team so far, even with their new roster. But I think that they will still be able to pull this out, the rug out from underneath RD quite early. I'm going to give game one to NFG at 25 minutes.
25 minutes for our NFG. Okay. Well, we have that first bet in. Remind you guys, if you're in the chat right now, we do have a contest live. You can decide who you think is gonna win the series. So go ahead and get those bets in, whether it be RDE or NFG. Get those started. Earn yourself some points. You can do some cool stuff with those later here. So we do see the teams kind of drafting here. So interestingly enough, right now, Virtual Trap is the one that picked the Jarvan and has Smite here. So we might see a little bit of a switcheroo. Like you mentioned, we haven't seen Trap on that Scion. That might be because he's not actually going to be playing the Scion this game.
That is true. Astute observation there. I do know that Angry Troglodyte, previously Jan, which I think was how you pronounce his name, was the top laner for RD before they acquired Virtual Trap. So it is possible that they're doing a role swap. It is within the rules. So
yeah, so maybe a little bit of a cheeky play from the side of RDE. They kind of flexed their players instead of really a champion. But that being said, I don't know too much about Virtual Trap, but I don't think I've seen him jungle at all. I'm going to pull his OP here and see. Do you think that's going to be a weakness going against like a pretty good jungler in cleansing?
Oh yeah. Not only do I think it sets the jungle up for failure, I think it also sets the top lane up for failure because Jamj is not the most mechanically skilled top laner. I pretty much only seen him on like Maokai and other sort of wet noodle tanks. So throwing him up against in this top lane against someone like Harbinger, who is exceptionally aggressive, is able to punish the weaknesses of these tank players, really just it doesn't paint a pretty picture for RDE. I think I might actually have to change my prediction. I'm actually going to say 23 minutes NFG.
So with that swap of the two players, it's going to shave another 2 minutes off here. Now, interestingly enough, I did look at Virtual Traps OP.GG. He has been secondary jungling, so he has been playing a lot of the jungle as of lately here. Specifically, a lot of Graves and Jarvan, though. So
hey, maybe he'll prove me wrong.
Yeah, maybe he will prove us wrong here. So yeah, it's going to be definitely interesting to take a look at here. So the other matchup we want to take a look at. So let's go through lane by lane. So you think Harbinger has the advantage in the top lane?
Oh, easily, yes, 100%.
So that goes to NFG. Cleansing versus Virtual Trap, Zach J4. What's your prediction there?
I think Zach is pretty good versus J4. He's very tanky. Doesn't really die to Jarvan's early aggression. As for player skill, I know that Cleansing kind of been out of the game for a little while and just recently coming back. But I've played on a team with him before. I think that he's actually quite good at his role, which is obviously jungle. So I'm going to give that to NFG as well.
Okay, so that brings us to the mid lane. You have KTA mid playing Cassiopeia and Slivering Dingus on Ahri. What do you think your prediction is there?
KTA wins, I think, pretty handedly. He's one of the better mid laners in the in GXPC, and I haven't really seen a ton of super amazing play from Slivering Dingus. He's more just kind of like a consistently shows up and does his thing, but never really wows. So I'm gonna give that one to RDE.
I think I would agree there. KTA mid is my prediction there. And then let's take the bot lane together. Arrow and Pengu versus Yeye and Cheesecake. Personally, I think Lucian smashes this lane in, especially since Yeye hasn't really shown too much proficiency on like Braum Alistair. What are your thoughts on that lane?
Definitely NFG. Arrow and Pengu have proven to be a really, really good bot lane. Definitely very solid. I'd probably put them in the top 4 of the of GXPC. And again, I think that RD's bot lane is quite lackluster. Easily the weakest part of their team. And I think that they're going to get punished for picking a very subpar, very weak early game AD carry into this Lucian Alistair combo.
All right, guys. Well, you hear what we think about this game. You guys go ahead and get your bets in. Tell us who you think is going to win this game, whether it's going to be RDE or NFG. With that being said, we're going to take a short break and hear from our sponsors, and we will catch you guys on the Rift for Game 1.
My name is Tim Borseth, and I own and operate GXPC in Decorah, Iowa. GXPC is a geek paradise. We carry everything from Pong and Atari all the way to Xbox One and PS4, and all the games that would go with those consoles as well. We also carry a ton of movies. We have handheld games. We have Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon. We have D&D and Pathfinder. We carry Warhammer 40K. We have a vintage Star Wars selection. This place is great. My wife and I have had 6 kids, and they are so much fun to work with here at the store. They run the store as much as I do.
And we now repair cell phones, game consoles, computers, and small electronics.
Our store is instant fun. Not only is there cool music and cool stuff to look at, but we have a game room that is so much fun. It's free to play, and you just plug in your game system and enjoy life. The GXPC motto is bringing joy to people's lives through our products, people, and a place to play. So you have got to come to Decorah, Iowa and check out Games XP and experience this geek gaming paradise.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We are getting on to the Rift for Game 1 of No F's Given and Red Dusk Esports. We do see the blue side is going to be No F's Giving this game. We do have Harbinger in the top lane, Cleansing in the jungle, Slivering Dingus in the mid lane, Arrow in the bot lane with Babo Pengu. On the side of Red Dusk Esports, Virtual Trap will be in the jungle. Angry Troglodyte is the top lane, KTA mid in the mid lane, Cheesecake and Yeye in the bot lane here. So we do see both teams kind of lining up, getting a traditional 5-point line of scrimmage start here. So nothing too crazy level 1. Oh. And just to make me eat my words, Harbinger does a little bit of trade on the Scion there. But it's not going to be too much.
Yeah, pretty cheeky. If Scion had set himself up correctly, he probably could have countered that, but what are you going to do?
Indeed here. So we did see Harbinger opting for that Comet build. We've kind of seen a little bit of differences in the Aatrox build at the top here. You have Comet versus Electrocute here. Why do you think he chose to go with that specific rune?
I think Comet versus Electrocute, both are fine. I think I would have preferred to have seen the Electrocute, because I really just want to see him abuse an all-in Scion basically over and over again.
Yeah, so that kind of takes that away there. We do see teams kind of lining up here. Both junglers opting to start the top side of the map. Cleansing did not take a leash, but they do know exactly where Virtual Trap is due to that ward place from Harbinger. So that's going to be a early advantage for the side of NFG. However, Cleansing is going to be way behind in his clear.
Yeah, we see Virtual Trap is already on this bot lane scuttle here, which he's probably going to take that and then rotate to his blue buff. Or he might level 2 gank. I don't know. We shall see. You know, he's going up to his blue.
Yeah, he didn't really have knowledge of the Zac, so not really opting for that early invade here, which is, I think, good on his part. Played safe here, not going for anything too crazy. But we do see Cleansing still in the top side of his jungle here.
Yeah, it looks like he's opting for a full clear here. I'm a little confused as to why, especially because he has very strong lanes that he can gank for pretty early. But he'll have an experience advantage over Virtual Trap, which...
Here we have a level 2 power spike for the side of NFG, getting a whole bunch of damage onto Cheesecake. Definitely a heavily won trade for the side of NFG here. but we do see Virtual Trap heading down here. They're going to go for this early gank, not able to hit the knock-up, and Arrow's going to be able to just walk out with his life. Nothing too crazy going on down there. No summoners burnt at all, and they're going to continue their pressure in this bot wave.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good Winter's Bite hit by Yeye through the minions there, but unfortunately didn't really count for much.
Yeah, so with that, that's going to allow the Zac to kind of catch up on the side of Virtual Trap and get this full clear here. It's definitely going to help him out that gank didn't go through. So, you know, a little bit of a early aggression paid off for the side of NFG.
Cleansing's really not in a hurry to do anything right now. I guess the most worrying thing is that he's probably not going to end up getting a Scuttle Crab in this first clear. But if he gets all his camps and gets them on, respawn fairly quickly, it won't hurt him too much.
Yeah, and he really doesn't have too much to worry about because as we see, I mean, the bot lane just getting a flash out of Cheesecake. You have bot lane that's already winning lane. You would argue top lane is starting to pull ahead, already up 10 CS. So the only lane that Cleansing really needs to worry about at this point is the mid lane. And I think Slithering Dingus is doing a good job of not allowing KTA mid to really push him out or punish him in this early game.
Yeah, KTA already out of Corrupting Charge, or Corrupting Pot charges, which isn't really that great for him. He does have a level advantage here, but...
Oh, a nice charm from Slithering Dingus, and KTA is going to take a bit of damage there, taking that turret shot. And like you said, right before that happened, KTA does not have a Corrupting Charge, whereas the Ahri of Slithering Dingus does. So she's going to be able to sustain out a little bit longer. And we do see that Cleansing's just going to go ahead and reset and get his first jungle back in.
Yeah, KTA playing, in my opinion, far too aggressive here. He really got punished there for basically no reason. I mean, he didn't have any potion charges left, so he really didn't have any business trading with Slithering Dingus. But he went ahead and took a tower shot. It's, have to wonder if the pressure might be getting to him a little bit.
Yeah, and he's going to go ahead and miss an entire wave here, so it's a good back timing. Oh, we do see the bot lane going super low on both ends. Flash going through. First blood is going to go through for Yeye, followed up by a kill for the Lucian. So all in all, that's going to be 1-for-1, 1 kill onto the Braum and 1 kill onto the Lucian. The Xayah does get an assist there, but some early aggression on the bot side ends up in the 1-for-1. And we do see the Xayah finishing the BF Sword, where Lucian is going for that Bilgewater Cutlass to go ahead and start getting into Blade of the Ruined King.
Yeah, unfortunately for Xayah,
no.
Here in the top lane.
So Troglodyte does have his charge. He's going to be able to get out of that gank pretty easily there. Luckily for him, he timed it up pretty well to get out of that, but that's going to put him even further behind. Going to be down almost 20 CS already at 6 minutes in the game.
Virtual Trap sneaking in a little counter jungle here. I like that quite a bit. Cleansing is down a level right now due to the fact that he didn't get a Scuttle Crab on the first clear. As for the top lane, I think it was perhaps a little quick on the trigger to pull the Aatrox ult there. I don't really think it was needed for the gank. I think better positioning would have landed them the kill if they had tried to prevent Sion's charge a little bit better. Mm-hmm. Because the Aatrox ult cooldown, I believe, is a little more than 2 minutes at rank 1, if I'm not mistaken. It's quite a long cooldown, and he's not going to have that for any potential tower dives that they might want to pull on the Sion, who's pretty easily poked out at this point. Yeah,
for sure. So, and the Reckless, or the Unstoppable Onslaught's going to be up for Sion much faster than you're going to have Worldender up for the Aatrox here. So something else I wanted to point out, we mentioned how aggressive KTA likes to play. It's going to be interesting to see if Virtual Trap can play into that, because that's what we've seen so good recently from I Smell a Pig, is the synergy that he and KTA mid have kind of brought together in this team. It's just going to be interesting to see how that dynamic goes. We do see Cleansing going in onto Troglodyte here. Is going to bounce him around like a ping pong. He is kind of tanky, though. He doesn't have the Unstoppable Onslaught yet. He does have the flash available, so I don't know if they're going to be able to finish that. Now we're going to see this come into play, that he doesn't have the World Ender ultimate ability. This is going to be a pretty rough dive. Harbinger taken really low. I think Cleansing is just going to fall here, and that's going to be a kill over to Troglodyte on a, just quite frankly, a botched dive attempt.
Yeah, that was just a very, very poor decision there. You kind of got to wonder what those guys are thinking. And
oh, here comes KTA mid flashing onto Dingus, but he is able to escape with his life with that flash there.
Yeah, it was actually a very good flash by Dingus there. Quite good reaction speed. He'd managed to turn around and then flash, so he did not get stunned by the Cassiopeia ult.
Yeah, so pretty. I think he was anticipating that all-in play from KTA mid. But yeah, we do see like a little bit of misplay on the side, and this is going to allow Virtual Trap to go in here. Now we do see the concussive blow going through. Pengu is forced to flash away. Another Winter's Bite coming through. We just see here's Virtual Trap going in onto Pengu. Nice headbutt. He brings him down, but Pengu is going to go down. Virtual Trap's one hit is going to fall. That's a 1-for-1 there. We do see the culling coming through. Here is we do have Cleansing down there here. A nice wall there to keep him down. Oh, he does end up picking the kill on the Braum, but that's a shutdown gold going over to Xayah. So that's 2 kills over to both sides. However, it looks like Braum picked up another one in that bot lane.
Yeah, really bloody bot lane. I think that it was well played from RDE up until the point where Virtual Trap ulted and took a tower shot for it. I don't think that was actually necessary and ended up costing him his life. They did have, Alistar wasn't 6. He did not have Unbreakable Will, I believe his ultimate is called, to stop any incoming CC and provide damage reduction. So I'm pretty sure that they could have just killed him without the Arven ult. So Virtual Trap getting a little bit ahead of himself. We're seeing a lot of really kind of needlessly aggressive play from the junglers this game.
The Unstoppable Onslaught is going to come through for Troglodyte. World Ender is popped in response here. Virtual Trap, they are going to take Harbinger down, but he is going to resurrect with World Ender here. So good job of getting into safety without really losing too much of his life there. And there you see, once again, if Jarvan would have had his ultimate there, I think the Cataclysm might have finished off Harbinger here. Cleansing going in on this bot lane once again. The ultimate comes through. Yeye is really tanky though. Cleansing ends up going down. Yeye is going to pay for it with his life. The fight continues. Xayah does have a red buff there. And in this kind of trend continues. We just see kind of botch dive after botch dive. It's kind of it's just a kind of a clown fiesta, but
yeah,
a lot
that is.
of
Those are the words that I would definitely use in this situation. We did see Rift Herald picked up top lane, which is going to be pretty important for RD if they want to try and get any attempt at first tower here. But I'm pretty sure that Alistar has his ult. Theoretically, if they wanted to dive Xayah here, they could. But it looks like they're just going to back off and play it a little bit safe.
Yeah, we do see KTA mid coming down. Is going to be spotted out by that control ward. So a roam kind of failed there, and he's going to lose another wave to this turret in the mid lane. That's a lot of XP and farm that's just going to kind of be wasted on a failed roam.
Yeah, that was just a poor roam. He does lose that wave, and he is already down a level to Slivering Dingus is level 9. Or he was when he made the roam at least. He's now level 9 as well. Really just a lot of questionable decision-making being made by both sides right now. Not sure how comfortable I am with it.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. Not a very clean match by any means, but I think at this point in time, that plays to the favor of Red Dusk. They want this game to go late. They want to be able to get their Cassiopeia and Xayah scaled into the late game. And I think that's starting to happening without too much of an advantage. I mean, there's no advantage for NFG right now. There's actually a lead for the side of RDE.
Yeah, RDE actually proved me wrong. I have to respect that.
Now, there's still a lot of game to be played, a lot of mistakes that can be made. You do see quite a large CS lead on the side of Arrow, which we did mention being one of their win conditions. We'll see if he's able to kind of translate that into a team lead as the top laners are kind of slugging back and forth here. Harbinger is getting the best of these trades as of now, but the Scion's going to get pretty tanky here shortly.
Yeah, my only worry is that Angry Troglodyte doesn't have a lot of respect for this Aatrox damage. You see that he is walking into Aatrox Q3s, which is the most damaging part of that ability. He might die here, actually.
Yeah, he's going to go quite low, but Harbinger doesn't decide to go all in here. He has swelled his CS lead to almost 30 at this point, which is really good for here. Yeye going aggressive onto Pengu here. Gets headbutted up. Luckily, it's not punished too much here. But yeah, there's just so much hyper-aggression on both sides. Troglodyte uses the Unstoppable Force, but he's going to go really low. Worldender is popped in. We do see a fight break out in the bot lane as well. Nice flash from Harbinger to avoid the knockup of Trap. He is going to take down Troglodyte here. Some more chaos in the bot lane. Shutdown Gold goes over to Alistar. And then Troglodyte does get the return kill onto that. Fighting in the mid lane as well. All three lanes are going crazy here. So ultimately here, you have 2 kills going over to the side of NFG and 1 kill going over to the side of Red Dusk. So a little bit of crazy. And we do see the Herald popped in the top lane. They're going to try to break this first turret top, but they aren't going to be able to get it in time as it is picked up on the bot lane of NFG. And I think now we finally get a little bit time to breathe, but whew, a lot going on really quick.
Yeah, I mean, pretty good gank from Cleansing in the bot lane. It didn't look super hot when he initiated it. We saw Alistar go quite low even through his ultimate, and Cleansing almost died as well. But, you know, it worked out in the end. Cleansing cheekily smites away the blue buff from his own mid laner there, unfortunately. And
Yeah.
I really do think that Cleansing has the right idea of how he needs to play around his win conditions, whereas I think Virtual Trap is kind of just meandering about in this top lane. We've seen many ganks for the side of RD in the top lane, and you really just have to wonder why. That's not their win condition. Getting Scion ahead isn't really going to do anything.
Even Jarvan, if you get Jarvan ahead, that's not really what they need to do. And interestingly enough, we haven't seen really any focus in the mid lane by either team, even though have seen KTA mid kind of hyper aggressive here. He is just able to farm up, and this Cassiopeia is going to be pretty dangerous once he hits his power spike.
Yeah, you just have to wonder if it's really going to be worth anything. I mean, we see CS, like huge CS leads from both NFG's top and bot lane. Aatrox, like this is the part of the game when Aatrox is, you know, oppressively strong right now. I really want to see NFG try and group and really just force down this tier 1 mid. It's pretty much just standing gold at this point. I think we are going to see maybe RD's top lane tower go down here. I'm going to jump over there real quick.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to see some towers traded. The bot tier 1's going to go down. Is Harbinger going to be able to take it out? He is, and he's going to go ahead and try to go for the fight here. Troglodyte does have his ultimate still available to it. Pengu, a nice headbutt, and Pulverize gets him around. Cataclysm goes down, followed by the Glacial Fissure, but it doesn't really hit anyone. Calling misses. The ult from Cleansing misses once again. Red buff slow is going to apply to Cheesecake. He's going to go low. One more auto will do it. Arrow picks up a kill. And that is 2 members down for the side of RDE, and this is not what you want to see. And they are looking to get even further onto this Braum. He is able to hit his pull together there, whatever mechanic you want to call that.
Stretching strike, I believe, is Zach's Q.
Strike. But yeah, a good play from the side of NFG, really playing around that bot lane, getting 2 more kills in response to that turret.
I'd chalk that up really to a poor gank attempt on the side of Virtual Trap. He didn't really have any respect for where Zach could have been on the map. As you can see, the bot lane bush that Zach ganked from is control warded. So they didn't really have vision, and that's one of Zach's pretty much most common gank paths, really. So it was pretty much only natural for him to show up when tower was going to be contested. Again, really just poor decision-making from RD's jungler here, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Ari is able to just finish off that tier 1 turret. Virtual Trap is really not in a great spot here. Is able to knock him up. Is that going to be enough to save his life? Looks like it is going to be. But that was a very disrespectful play from Virtual Trap there.
Again, yeah, he really just has absolutely no business being in their jungle, and he's really just, doesn't seem to care at all, which, it begs a few questions like, how much experience does he really have jungling? It's very unfortunate that Pig couldn't be here for this game is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, you mentioned, take a look at his build. He did finish his Warrior Enchant on his Smite, and is looking, I would assume, is going towards the Black Cleaver. Do you think it's good to go for this damage build in his team? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I think they're probably going to need a Black Cleaver if they want to have any chance of getting Xayah to a respectable amount of damage in these team fights. I probably would have went Cinderhulk over the Warrior Enchant, though, just because Yarvin damage isn't going to be your win condition here. It's pretty much going to be all Xayah Cassiopeia. All Yarvin needs to do is live long enough to set up a good Cataclysm on, unfortunately not really anybody from the side of NFG, as they all have very, very easy ways to get out of the Yarvin ult, but maybe they could have used it as terrain to kind of set up a Xayah backline sort of defense mechanic.
Yeah, for sure. So I think that might be another lack of experience in the jungle role. I could be wrong, but I would much rather have seen more of a tank build from the Jarvan here, as building that cleaver is going to provide him a little bit of damage, but it's not going to give him the sustainability he's going to be. Tengu, a pulverized headbutt here, and this is going to be disastrous for the side of Red Dusk Esports, as Arrow's on a killing spree. Harbinger picks up another kill. They turn their attention onto Virtual Trap. The flash doesn't get him very far at all. Is he going to be able to get up? Good knockup from Harbinger. Cleansing's chasing him down. KTA mid wants this 1v1, but he's in the middle of two waves here. KTA mid is kind of in no man's land. I don't know why Dingus is so afraid to not go on him. They're going to go ahead and dive Troglodyte now. Unstoppable Force isn't going to do anything. Arrow picks up another kill. He is on a rampage. So a lot of stuff going on once again, but we're starting to see No F's Given pulling ahead here. And another kill on the Virtual Trap. They're going to take this tier 2 turret. This is
kind of the end of another cheeky dive there. I really don't understand why KTA... does Slivering Dingus get him?
Whoa, okay. Cleansing, that was kind of questionable, but I guess he just says, we're stronger than you, so we're just going to flex on you at that point. The dive does go in their favor, but the members of NFG are super low at this point. They turn their attention onto this first inhibitor turret.
Yeah, certainly not the cleanest dive, but they're strong enough to really just brute force whatever they want at this point in the game. That may have ended differently if KTA had been there from the start, but we did see him get caught out in almost 100-0 by Slivering Dingus at the end there. It's kind of funny. Slivering is making me eat my words quite a bit. He's really shown himself to be going pretty toe-to-toe with KTA in the mid lane here with very little jungle interference. Good on him.
Yeah, he really did live up to the challenge, in my opinion. So it is nice to see him. And I mean, he didn't really win mid lane super hard, but he didn't lose mid lane, and that's really all that the team really needed from him, and that's going to put them in a good spot to finish this game out.
Yeah, altogether, I really just... I mean, both teams have made a pretty significant amount of questionable plays, sort of, really just... I don't want to say brainless, but certainly not very well thought out dives. But I think that the play where RDE went into try and get some deep wards in on NFG's jungle when they were so far behind, and their team comp really just wasn't anything cohesive. Really, that was the back-breaking play here, unfortunately.
Yeah, and at this point, you're down, 6k gold. Another Drake, Drake does go over to the side of NFG. If you're Red Dusk, what are your thoughts? How are you going to stop the bleeding and kind of turn this game back in your favor?
Turtle and pray.
Turtle and pray. I think we're both in agreement here that it's kind of NFG's game to lose at this point, so they're just kind of looking for a throw.
I mean, I would go so far as to say that if NFG really wanted to do Baron right now, they probably could.
All right, here we do see the fight engaged on the side of Red Dusk Esports disengaged pretty well. A nice headbutt knocks them out of the fight there, but those are two pretty important cooldowns, the Unstoppable Force and the Glacial Fissure. So yeah, I think I agree now. If they wanted to, they could just kind of start this Baron, especially with Harbinger drawing so much attention in this bot lane. And I think that's exactly what they're going to do right now.
Yeah, I think this is definitely the play that I want to see from NFG right now. It would be very easy for them to peel off and turn if RDE really wanted to commit to trying to stop them. But it looks like they might not actually decide to go through with the Baron play.
Yeah, they do have the teleport advantage on the side of Red Dusk. So I don't think they want to get into a 4v fight, even though I think they might be able to fight it. They just take the smarter, safer play and kind of back off and let Harbinger continue his onslaught onto this bot lane.
Yeah, Harbinger's probably going to back quite a bit of gold now. I do want to see him group around Baron. I think it's time to do that objective and kind of end the game. You know, sort of GG go next.
Yeah, you have supers pushing into the base. They are sending 3 members to kind of deal with that. Arrow's going to go ahead and clear out this control ward. And I honestly think if you're the side of NFG, just go ahead and get this started here. You have vision control. You know where 3 members of the team are. Now that Scion's showing bot, why not force this, do something, and press your lead here.
Yeah, you can see like just how scared RDE is. That actually could have potentially been a pretty decent opportunity for a turnaround if KTA had turned around and committed with Cassiopeia ult, but they just nope out of there almost instantly as soon as they see Pengu.
Yeah, and instead of like starting the Baron, we see NFG setting up a Death Bush here. Isn't going to be spotted out, but they do know that they're not doing Baron. They walk right into that Death Bush. We see Cleansing going deep here, Troglodyte going low, Arrow is dominating, picks up that kill, but that's 1 pick over to the side of NFG. Now it's a 4v4 with Harbinger pushing this bot lane here.
Unfortunately, Dingus did lose his ult for essentially no reason there. He could have just charmed the Scion Zombie then walked away, but I don't think it'll matter too much.
Yeah, they are turning their attention onto this Baron now. Now RDE has to make a tough decision. Either contest this Baron and let this bot turret go down, or try to stop Harbinger, and they look like they want to take this Baron fight.
This might be good for them.
Yeah, here comes the Glacial Fissure. The members of NFG are relatively low, and they're kind of divided at this point. This might be the fight that they're looking for. However, Dingus does pick up a kill onto Cheesecake. That is not good. The smite for Cleansing is going to keep him alive. His passive goes. In the meantime, look at the bot lane. Harbinger is just pushing into their base. Virtual Trap re-engages. Does not have the damage to finish Arrow off. Arrow's godlike. Picks up a kill. Ahri takes down the Braum, and now it seems like NFGs can just do whatever they want. They're continuing their push onto KTA mid. He's nowhere to go. He does juke the Q from Cleansing. Arrow is here. One more auto will do it. He's going to be able to get this kill. He's legendary. And in the meantime, Harbinger is just taking the base, and this is going to be just disastrous. We do see the Unstoppable Force going on a Slimmering Dingus, taking low. Not enough damage from Cheesecake. Cheesecake is going to go very low here. Not down yet. A good ultimate keeps him alive. And with that, it looks like they're just going to go ahead and reset and group, and they're going to be able to push now.
Yeah, this is Baron time, like for real, 100% serious this time. 2 inhibs down. His super is going to be pouring into the base, Come on, NFG, it's time.
Yeah, and you saw that NFG basically did 4v5. They ended up getting the pick onto Troglodyte, which set up that 4v4, and they still won that fight, even though they were taking all that Baron damage. So
yeah, unfortunately for RDE, Cheesecake had very, very poor positioning in that last fight, which should have really been 4 kills for them. Turned around completely into the side of NFG because he got caught by an Ahri charm, unfortunately.
Yeah, so the Baron has not been taken yet. We do see Troglodyte still does have his ultimate. A nice charm comes through, getting Virtual Trap kind of locked up here. Their pings all around. I don't know why they're hesitating. Just start this. I mean, worst case scenario, you turn and fight. You already know you can beat them in a 5v5. Just kind of, I don't know, hesitating at this point.
Yeah, I'm not really sure the thought process here. If they want to do more split pushing stuff, Harbinger does have the teleport. He could go top lane, and they could sort of screw around a little bit. But I mean, I really just want to see this game be over. I mean, it basically is at this point in all but name.
All right, we do see cleansing going in. KTA mid is kind of out of position, but the team of NFG isn't really there to punish him there. They are going to go ahead and push down this tier 2 in the top lane. Scion is still trying to do a super minions on his own, is not having a lot of luck there. So they're just pressuring the map and kind of slowly choking RDE out of this game. Oh, here we go. This is going to be the fight here. Unstoppable comes through. Cataclysm comes through. World Ender doing a ton of damage. Harbinger is on a rampage. One more auto will take down KTA mid. Triple kill for the side of the Aatrox. One more kill will do it. That is a quadra kill. The only kill going over to Arrow, and this should be game here. NFG takes down the final Nexus turret, and they are going to take down the Nexus. So 29 minutes. It's going to be a dominating win for the side of Red Dusk Esports. Oh, I'm sorry. No F's given.
Yeah, Harbinger absolutely popped off in that last fight. A quadra kill off of some really, really well set up Aatrox Qs. Quite impressive, really.
Yeah, what a great match from NFG. Kind of making a statement in this game one. The switch from the side of Red Dusk Esports didn't really pay off for them too much here. So we will be back. We're going to take a short break. We will check you guys out in Champ Select shortly. All right, everybody, welcome back. We are about to get into Champ Select for Game 2 of Red Dusk Esports and No F's Given. The teams have switched sides, so we do have Red Dusk on the blue side and NFG on the red side today. So, Cinco, what do you think that NFG is going to do? Are they going to stick with the same ban, same draft style, or do you think they'll switch it up to kind of keep RDE on their toes?
Well, important thing to note that our viewers can't see right now is that I Smell a Pig is being subbed back in for Angry Troglodyte. We will see Virtual Trap return to the top lane here in this game. This is exceptionally important. As the comment that you made in Game 1 was the inherent synergy between Pig and KTA mid, which I think is really, in the games that RD have won with this roster, it's typically been by Pig and KTA just getting ahead and running away with the game. So I think that NFG is going to have to throw some targeted jungle bans. I know that Pig is an absolute monster on Kayn and other stuff like Wukong and Graves. So I really want to see targeted jungle bans here instead of the couple mid bans that they threw at KTA's. Really, the worst mid laners that he plays, in my opinion, the Orianna and the Vel'Koz. Actually, I was surprised that Cassiopeia wasn't banned. I think he plays a much better Cassiopeia than either Orianna or Vel'Koz from Game 1.
Yeah,
we are going to see bans here. So
yeah, so the Urgot ban coming through, nothing too much changing from RDE. NFG taking that cannon away from Virtual Trap. Something else to note, if we take a look at the NFG lineup, Cleansing is not in the lineup right now. Slithering Dingus has moved to the jungle, and Super Scyther is in the mid lane right now. So that's going to be interesting to take a look at, too. You have NFG kind of getting rid of their starting jungler while RDE picks up their starting jungler back. So I think the dynamic of this game is going to be much different.
Yeah, that's actually quite confusing. I would have liked to have seen Cleansing play another game. He made some questionable dives, but I think altogether he was fairly solid. Now, we don't see the Kayn ban here, which I think is important. I would not be surprised if RDE decides to lock this immediately.
Yeah, they decide to take the Graves away because I do believe the Graves is considered the higher tier jungler. However, like you mentioned, Pig's going to eat that all up. He locks in his Kayn. He's confident with that there. So interestingly enough, we see the Akali taken away from KTA mid, but the Kayn left up for Pig. I don't know if that's the right idea.
We do also see Zed is still open for KTA as well. Again, would not be surprised if the second pick here we see is a Zed of some sort.
Yeah, interesting too. We do see Varus locked in. Arrow is so comfortable on that champion. He's kind of a two-trick, as I've seen. He's either going to play Lucian or Varus if it's available. So the Varus definitely comfortable with, and I think NFG are going to kind of play a similar comp here. There's the Alistar. Yep. So already locking in that strong bot lane that they like to do. We'll see RDE kind of counter that. So the Braum is still available. We still have the Zyra available for Yeye. I know he loves to play that champion, and really pick of the litter for the bot lane there.
Yeah, you caught it right. There's the Zyra. I think that not picking Zed here and letting it go to second round when NFG can ban it is 100% a mistake. Varus is an exceptionally immobile 80 carry. Very easy for Zed to assassinate, and it is KTA's best champion. I think that it is a grave mistake to let it go through to second round here. We'll see if it gets banned. I think that likely it will, and I think that we'll see quite a bit of regret from the side of RD for that.
Yeah, and we do see Slithering Dingus locking in the Olaf. That's a champion. I don't know much about Slithering Dingus in the jungle, so I think he's kind of the wild card in this game. And you mentioned it right here. The Zed is banned away now, so they kind of missed that opportunity from the side of RDE. Interestingly enough, I don't know. I think they could have picked that instead of the Jhin right there. I don't think Jhin is a high
the Jhin was absolutely not a contested pick. Really just sort of questionable drafting. Now, I think what RDE is trying to do here is set up for a Yasuo pick in the top lane if it's not banned. We might see Orianna mid lane. Because Yasuo does pair pretty well with Red Kayn. Of course, he has the straight line knockup for 1 second. Very, very strong. So I definitely want to see a draft around Yasuo here. Virtual Trap kind of gave a couple other top laners that he's laned against the workover on Yasuo, so I want to see that kind of continue here against Harbinger, who really just had an absolutely dominating performance on Aatrox the first game.
Yeah, so we do see the Vladimir and Ahri taking away from Super Scyther here. I haven't seen Super Scyther play too much, but the game that he did play mid, I think he played Karthus. So kind of a unique champion pool, I would say. So we'll see what he decides to pick here. They do have the first pick here. That I highly doubt that's a Volibear.
Yes, if it is, it's very confusing. We'll wait for confirmation for that, but we'll see what RD decides to pick up here on the return.
Yeah, so we do see the lock-in from Malphite. So that is going to be it's either a Volibear top or an Olaf top. So interesting pick here. We'll see how that works in this this dynamic of the team that NFG is drafting.
Yeah, we sure will. I think that not putting Virtual Trap on Yasuo here is a pretty big mistake. Obviously, it's not super great against Volibear, Olaf, Alistair, but whenever Virtual Trap plays a top laner that's not Yasuo or Kennen, I find myself pretty thoroughly unimpressed. I would definitely say that he's a two-trick, but in his defense, he is very good on those champions that he plays. The Kennen and Yasuo are his two mains. I understand that building around for comp is important, but if you're not very comfortable on the champion, it's really just going to come back to bite you. A good example is when I tried to play Ornn against Maverick in the SKZ game. I had absolutely no experience on the champion, and I got punished pretty heavily for pulling out a last-minute pick against someone who knew what they were doing.
Yeah, so we do see the final pick coming through is going to be Lux for Super Scyther. So a couple of very interesting team comps, in my opinion. NFG with the Volibear, Olaf, Lux. Those are kind of not typical picks that you're used to seeing in a competitive environment, as well as the Victor coming through. I know KTA mid is very comfortable on that Victor. I mean, let's talk about each of these comps and what they're trying to do. What do you think RDE? What do you think they're trying to do with this draft?
Man, I'm not really even sure. All I know is that depending on how early Pick can get Red Cane, he's going to have an absolute field day with that team. 3 tanks, he's going to tear through them like a hot knife through butter, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think I like the Red Dusk draft better. You have the hard engage from Malphite. You have the secondary engage from Saya, Jin, even Victor with his field there. And then, like you said, Kane just does so well into these tanks. Where NFG, I think it's in my opinion, is can Varus carry this game hard enough?
Yeah, that is absolutely what I was thinking.
Yeah, so does that change your perspective on this series? Do you think RDE are going to be able to kind of pull this back, send it to Game 3, and eventually take the series? Or do you still think NFG has the advantage?
Interesting question. I think it comes down to something that you said earlier. Slivering Dingus is a wild card in the jungle, so you don't really know if he's going to be able to perform at the level that they're going to need him to close this game out. And they are going to have to close this game out very quickly. Jin and Kane scale pretty well into the late game, especially Red Kane with all those tanks that he can ult and gain a full life bar back. Victor has some pretty decent scaling. He's a little bit weaker than he was maybe a year and a half ago. Saw kind of the hard end of a couple nerfs. But I would give this game to RD, I think. I think a 32-minute win on RD's side. I think it's going to be a struggle to really siege.
We're going to have to remake the lobby here. Because
oh boy.
The side of Red Dusk Esports doesn't really...
yeah, I'm not sure Red Dusk really understands how the ban system works, unfortunately.
They haven't left the lobby yet either. I'm not sure what's happening. There we go. Yeah, we're gonna have a remake here. So a little bit more time to talk here. Um, but I would have to agree with you on the prediction for at least this game. I think Red Dusk just has an easier to pull off team comp, and it's kind of straightforward. Malphite presses R, you follow up with Zyra or Jhin. Kane's just going to be in there, and then Victor can pretty much stand on the outside with Jhin and pump out damage. There's a lot of things that NFG are going to have to get through to get to the back line of Red Dusk. And when you look at their comp, you have Olaf, Volibear, Alistair. They're kind of just running at you. So
yeah, I think a large part of this game is going to be how big of a threat Olaf can present himself as early as possible, because he's really the only one that is going to have any sort of easy time getting to RD's backline. And he is going to have an easy time. I mean, he's going to pop the Ragnarok and the Predator, and he's just going to run right through everything. But the question is he just going to int as soon as he gets there, or is he actually going to be a threat that they're going to have to deal with long enough to kill the rest of RD's frontliners? And I'm gonna say no. I don't think that he will be able to present himself as that threat that they're going to need. And I think that this is going to be RD's game. Not handedly. RD isn't the cleanest team. A lot of the games that they play are very messy. A lot of skirmishes going on, but I think they'll definitely clutch this one.
Yeah. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see. So, that being said, the lanes to look at. Let's kind of go lane by lane, kind of like we did in Game 1. So we have Virtual Trap on Malphite versus Harbinger on Volibear. What do we think about that?
Excuse me. I think that if this is Volibear top lane, which I assume it is because Olaf is a far superior jungler, I think Malphite has every advantage in the world in this matchup. Volibear's trades rely on very quick trades, utilizing his buffed attack speed from Frenzy, his W. And Malphite can pretty easily just hit the E key and say, oh, you want to land an auto attack reset on me with your W? Sorry, that can't happen. You know, it takes you 4 seconds to land an auto attack now. So I think that pretty easily goes in Virtual Trap's favor.
Yeah, and again, you just have. I guess I just don't understand the Volibear pick. Being a top laner myself, Fiora recently got buffed. Darius recently got buffed. Those two champions are just insane at dealing with tanks. You had the Aatrox open.
Yeah, he did have the Aatrox open, and he had a very convincing showing on it in Game 1. I'm confused as to why he didn't just pick it again.
So I don't know if he's just trying to flex and show and pick out the Volibear pick as just kind of flexing his muscles or a little BM, but it'll be interesting to see. Let's move on to the jungle here. So you have Pig on Kane versus kind of the wild card Olaf of Slithering Dingus. I mean, I'd give the advantage to RDE in this scenario. I don't know what your thoughts are.
I think that Olaf is actually a very good matchup versus Kane. I think Olaf pretty much says no to everything that Kane really wants to do, but I think that Pig is likely the better jungler and therefore has the edge in this matchup.
Okay, so yeah, so Pig, we kind of give him there. Let's move on to the mid lane. You have the KTA mid Victor, which is one of his pocket picks, versus Super Scyther on the Lux. I don't know too much about Super Scyther mid, so in my opinion, if he can pull ahead on the Lux early, he has the advantage, but I think KTA is going to be able to scale into this game. What are your thoughts on that?
I actually watched a few of the games that Super Scyther played mid lane, and he certainly wasn't bad in any stretch of the word. My only worry is that Lux is sort of a very niche champion. She can do the setting up, but a lot of times she requires setup. So I'll give it to KTA, but begrudgingly, because I think that KTA played Game 1 very poorly, and really just a lot of positioning issues. Didn't really pay attention to where he needed to be on the map at specific points. So I don't know. He might just be having an off day. But I think if Super Scyther plays at the top of his game, he'll be able to pull the rug out from KTA's feet.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I think having Pig back for KTA is definitely going to help him out because, like we mentioned in Game 1, they have built this synergy Pig plays so well into KTA Mid's kind of hyper aggressive style, and they usually just synchronize together pretty well. So that'll kind of be in my opinion, I think that's the lane to watch for RDE is the Kane, Victor, KTA Pig kind of duo there. Now, in my opinion, the lane to watch for NFG is this Varus Alistair Arrow on his patented Varus Alistair. Pengu showed how good he can be on that champion. That being said, we see Zyra on his pocket, or Yeye on his pocket pick Zyra. So how do you think this bot lane goes?
I think easily in the favor of Arrow and Pengu. I just think that they're the better bot lane, no questions asked.
All right. Well, that being said, what was your prediction? It was RDE in 30 minutes?
32 minutes RDE victory.
32 minutes and RDE victory. So we do have the bets are in. The contest has ended, and it looks like 79% of you think that NFG is going to be able to close out this series, with 21% saying that Red Dusk Esports is going to bounce back in game 2 and actually pick up this series. So that's going to be interesting to see if Red Dusk can prove 80% of the Twitch chat wrong and kind of take this series back here. I mean, I'm definitely excited to see how this game works out here. Playoff implications on the line. Where are both of these teams sitting right now? Do you know off the top of your head?
I believe that RD is, I think, 6-9, and I'm not sure what NFG's score is.
Yeah, sorry to put you on the spot there, but you are correct. Red Dusk Esports is currently sitting at the 6th position, which is that last playoff spot with a record of 6-9. NFG is the one above them in that 5 spot, sitting at a record of 9-6. So this is a very, very important game for the side of Red Dusk Esports.
Yeah, I really want to see RD pull it together because I think that they kind of serve a niche in GXPC that no other team does. They're a very solo queue strat oriented team. I mean, their jungler plays almost exclusively assassins and carries. It's really interesting to see the dichotomy that he and KTA sort of have with KTA on these. A lot of times, besides for the Zed, really more control-esque mid laners paired with the assassin jungler.
And let's not forget, Red Dusk Esports won last season. It was before we changed the GXPC, but they are the defending champs. So with that being said, we are going to take a short break to hear from our sponsors. We will join you guys on the Summoner's Rift for Game 2 of Red Dusk Esports and No F's Given.
My name is Tim Borseth, and I own and operate Games XP in Decorah, Iowa. Games XP is a geek paradise. We carry everything from Pong and Atari all the way to Xbox One and PS4, and all the games that would go with those consoles as well. We also carry a ton of movies. We have handheld games. We have Magic the Gathering, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon. We have D&D and Pathfinder. We carry Warhammer 40K. We have a vintage Star Wars selection. This place is great. My wife and I have had 6 kids, and they are so much fun to work with here at the store. They run the store as much as I do.
And we now repair cell phones, game consoles, computers, and small electronics.
Our store is instant fun. Not only is there cool music and cool stuff to look at, but we have a game room that is so much fun. It's free to play, and you just plug in your game system and enjoy life. The Game XP motto is bringing joy to people's lives through our products, people, and a place to play. So you have got to come to Decorah, Iowa and check out Games XP and experience this geek gaming paradise.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We are loading on to the Rift here for Game 2 of Red Dusk Esports, and no Fs given. So we are seeing the teams load onto the Rift. A few subs to take advantage of as we do
And of
see
course,
a pause here.
it wouldn't be a GXPC game without one of these.
Yeah, but this gives us a little bit of time to look at the lineup. So we mentioned it a little bit in the Champ Select. I Smell a Pig is back in for Red Dusk, and we do see Slithering Dingus moving from that mid lane to the jungle, and Super Scyther hopping in here. So a few substitutions to take a look at.
Looks like we're going to see an invade from the side of NFG here. I like it because they do have the comp for it, but I'm curious if it's really going to turn anything out.
It's going to be interesting to see where Jin stands in this bush, because if they hug this wall, he's not going to be able to see them until there. The ward kind of gave it away, though. That was interesting. I don't think I would have thrown that ward, but in the end, they do end up burning the flash for Cheesecake. So that is definitely what you want to see if you're NFG, who wants to get this bot lane rolling early.
Yeah, I want to see Olaf just sitting bot lane now. I think, you know, they are going to need Varus to get ahead if they want to win this game, because he's basically their only, consistent source of damage. And I think this is the opportunity. They need to take that. So we'll see if they can really capitalize on this wasted summoner spell on the side of RDE.
Yeah, but we do see with that, Red Dusk is taking that opportunity to get that vision on the jungle here. Okay. So we have Volibear in the mid lane right now. Super Scyther in the top lane playing Lux.
Evolve, you're right. We sure do. We sure do.
And I apologize because that kind of has me at a loss for words. So, why do you think they would opt for this kind of a switch up?
The only thing I can think of is that Malphite is an exceptionally hard counter to Volibear. Basically prevents him from doing anything in lane. And, they can kind of have this Malphite have a decent lane versus Lux if he gets, like, maybe an AP first item, say, like a Proto Belt or something, and takes the Comet. He can poke pretty much just as well as she can, and he's a melee champion. But I'm really worried about Harbinger. I mean, he can do almost nothing in this lane. Really has to wait for an opportunity for, like, an Olaf gank so he can flash on Victor. Kind of a head scratcher here. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, and to your point, I think the Malphite's going to be able to sustain against this Lux enough, and once Malphite hits level 6, I think Lux is just kind of a sitting duck at that point.
Yeah, really, just a great target for a nice hardy Malphite ult.
Yeah, and then like you said, KTA is just, chomping at the bit now. He can just have his way with this Volibear lane, and that plays to the side of Red Dusk with Pig, but we do see here is that gank from Slithering Dingus, the flash from Harbinger. KTA is going to go low, kind of making us eat in our words there. First blood going to Slithering Dingus. Oh, and we have KTA pausing just as a gank is happening in this top lane.
Oh boy, it wouldn't be GXPC, haha. Let's get some ha-has and oofs in chat, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at what they said. KTA PC broke, relog as usual. It'll be interesting to see if this is something that's gonna be a concern, because there is a fight going on in this top lane.
Yeah, I mean, this is clearly in violation of rule. They should have waited at least until the gank was over. I mean, KTA is dead. He's respawning now, so.
I guess the question is who initiate the pause. It was the support in Yeye, so I don't know. We'll take a look at how that goes. But that being said, so we see the Volibear Olaf getting this first blood. Do you think that changes the dynamic of this mid lane a little bit?
No, I don't think so. I think KTA is just being KTA and being way too aggressive where he is at being a ranged champion, though.
Yeah, and I think it was just a little bit of a misplay from KTA. I mean, the vision, Olaf's on the top side of the map. You had that early vision. He started bot side. You also know...
To bring back a euphemism I used earlier, is really just a head scratcher. I don't know what's going through his mind right now.
Yeah, so I mean, but if you're the side of NFG, getting this Olaf rolling early is definitely something that's going to be beneficial to you. Olaf is kind of one of those champions. If he snowballs, he's very obnoxious to deal with in a game. So that's definitely what you want to see from RDE or from NFG if they want to close out this series.
Yeah, and more important to note is that if Olaf does continue to snowball from here, RD has absolutely nothing to stop him. They don't have the Yarvin, they don't have an Anivia, or anything that can create terrain to kind of block his path. He's just going to run right through their team and kill Cheesecake and KTA, and they're not going to be able to do anything about it.
Yeah, that's definitely rough. I mean, the only really form of CC that they have to deal with is the Malphite ultimate, the Zyra root, and then like a Jhin, but Jhin is a secondary thing. He has to take damage first, and Ragnarok's just going to be able to run right through that. And you definitely don't want to use your Malphite ultimate to disengage an Olaf. So, like you said, if Olaf gets ahead, he can really change the dynamic of this game.
KTA is back in. Hopefully we see an unpause soon so we can get back to the action. Apologies to the viewers in chat. We know how boring this can be, unfortunately.
Yeah, so if we kind of just take a moment to look at what we have going on the map, Scyther is at least going to have to flash here. I don't think he's going to get away from this gank unscathed, especially the fact that Virtual Trap is going to be able to slow him with the Q there. Slivering Dingus is going to be able to back and get his Predator boots here. As we go into the action, Super Scyther does flash immediately, followed by Smell a Pig. Does miss the root there. Smell a Pig does have that red buff slow going. One more auto will not do it. Super Scyther barely surviving, but the kill does go over to Virtual Trap. Slivering Dingus is the next target here. He's forced to flash. Volibear is going to be there to kind of guide him to safety there. So that is a kill over to the side of Malphite.
Yeah, unfortunately a misplay from Super Scyther there. If he had hit the first Q on Kane earlier, he would have been completely safe, would have just walked away. Would have lost his flash, but wouldn't have lost his life. But unfortunately he did end up making that misplay, so he dies instead. So.
Yeah, so the double buffs end up going over to the Malphite. He's going to really appreciate that, being able to spam his Qs and get some poke onto the Lux. But I think he would have much rather had that going over to Kane to kind of speed up this, he wants to get to his form change as soon as possible, and having buffs definitely helps with that.
Yeah, unfortunately he did choose to gank Lux, which means that he got blue essence and not red. I really want to see Kane try and set something up in the mid lane with KTA, because blue Kane is just not going to be nearly as effective in this game, I think. Whereas, as I mentioned earlier, red Kane and all those tanks, real juicy. Mm-hmm. So I definitely want to see him at least try and get some red essence here.
Yeah, and do you think that was taken into the consideration, putting Harbinger mid and just sitting under this turret? Because it kind of forces... I think Kane is either forced to go on Olaf, Alistar, or Volibear here, and Volibear is just literally camping under his turret, not really giving that opportunity.
I think it may have been a consideration now that you mention it. I think more than likely it has more to do with the Malphite matchup, but I think that this might actually be a beneficial side effect of, for seemingly no other reason, putting Volibear mid lane.
Yeah.
We are going to see KTA is very low mana here, which isn't really great. I mean, if they want to set up a gank here like this, he's not going to do much.
Now we do see the pig gank over to the side of KTA mid. Gets a little bit of damage up, but more important, he starts building that red form essence as we were talking about. Pengu going aggressive onto the bot lane. Really kind of a disengaging pull headbutt there. And that's really all it's going to be. You do see Pig is hovering towards this mid lane, as we've seen so before. He does have the advantage in that mid lane, so he's pretty safe to do so. But yeah, Pig in the mid lane, that's what we're looking for.
Yeah, otherwise stuff's pretty much standard across the map right now. I think one of the more important things to note is that Pig does have a fairly significant experience advantage. over Slivering Dingus right now. We're going to see Slivering Dingus is going to take his last camp available. Huh?
Oh, look at the bot lane here. Yeye is showing how strong he can be on the Zyra. Gets the root. And in the mid lane, or the top lane, we do see Super Scyther going down. So that's a double kill for the bot lane. Here is Slippery Dingus, though. He is going to pick up the shutdown kill with the axe. But that ultimately is 3 kills over to the side of Red Dusk Esports, 2 of which going to Jin. That's definitely what you want to see.
Yeah, very nice axe there by Slivering Dingus at the end, but it does not cover up the misplay of Arrow there, getting caught for really no reason. Harbinger missing the flip there and clicking on a minion instead, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I think that's really a testament to how strong Yeye can be on Zyra. I mean, it's definitely his go-to pocket pick, and he was able to hit that root, apply a lot of damage, and at that point it was all about Jin timing up his stun up and really just taking advantage of that bot lane there. We do see Harbinger going aggressive. So here's the thing, you have that field from KTA he just puts down, is forced to flash away, but it kind of just stops Volibear in his tracks from doing too much.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, KTA stuck around for far longer than he did and ended up eating the Volibear bite. This is what I was talking about earlier. KTA really is just making a lot of very questionable decisions right now. He had the stun on Volibear. He had the Q speed bonus. There's no reason in the world that he shouldn't just run away immediately so he doesn't get traded on. But instead he decides to stick around in melee range and really just eat like 300 or 400 damage that he didn't need to. One thing I do want to go over real quickly is about maybe a minute and a half ago, we did see Kane commit to another top lane gank and get another kill on Super Scyther. So I'm curious to see if he decides to, instead of even going for any red essence, continuously ganking this very squishy Lux and hitting the big blue essence cap and then waiting 4 minutes to transform into red Kane.
Yeah, we do see some more trading on here. And kind of kudos to Harbinger in this mid lane, staying ahead here. We do see Ragnarok popped kind of early from the side of Olaf. Virtual Trap is going to flash away here. But as I'm saying, Volibear is doing a good job of getting a kind of significant CS lead. Okay, so we are just informed that there is going to be a remake of this game due to the pause of the Kane gank here. So that's going to be interesting to talk about here. So is that's initiated from Red Dusk? We are continuing play. I don't know what exactly is happening. But we're kind of... Okay, we are just hanging out here. We do see the gank here from Smell a Pig.
Yeah, so apparently any of this doesn't matter right now, unfortunately.
Well, interestingly enough, I don't understand why they didn't remake it, like, immediately. They kind of waited, like, 10 more minutes into the match to do so. Anyways, we'll continue to cast like if this is the game, though. We do see Pig tutoring over towards this bot side. Not really an opportunity to gank, though. Harbinger going aggressive onto KTA mid. KTA mid does not have a lot of mana. Oh no, Harbinger bit a minion, and he's going to go down. Harbinger goes down. Kane goes down. Slivering Dingus is on a killing spree. That was a rough set of plays there.
Yeah, quite a few mistakes there on the side of Harbinger. We saw when he flashed and got the flip on KTA, he actually flipped him backwards, back into the safety of his turret range, and then on the full commit, bit a minion. So, yikes! Pour one out for that guy.
I mean, that was he had lethal.
Yeah, I mean, it was a free kill. It was, a sack of 300 gold just waiting to be picked up, and I guess he tripped over his own 2 feet.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's definitely what you like to see from Red Dusk Esports. They are going to kind of take this time here. But I would like to note, again, I feel like Yeye is just doing such a good job being able to zone out and kind of keep Varus at bay in the spot lane so far.
Yeah, we really are going to see the early game power of the Zyra pick come through. It's really just tearing an absolute hole through Arrow and Pengu.
Here we see some aggression go. Babo Pengu going deep. Nice job from Yeye. Picks up the kill onto Pengu. Neither of these champions have mana. Are they going to commit to the fight here? One more auto will do it, and that goes Arrow down. Another pair of kills picked up for the bot lane.
Yeah, Arrow
RDE.
really just having absolutely no respect.
And here comes the ult from Virtual Trap. Pig is there. The flash was kind of whiffed from Lux there. I don't think he even had like the full amount. And that's another kill over to Pig. As we see Harbinger running at KTA mid once again. So Pig is just bullying up on this top laner. So now the next question is Pig going to go ahead and go into that Shadow Assassin cane, or is he going to wait the extra time to get that red cane?
Yeah, so to quickly unpack everything that just happened, so a very good play from Yeye down in bot lane. We are going to see another gank here in the mid lane.
Yep, another gank from Slivering Dingus. Pengu is here to kind of help out. That's going to probably be KTA's life. It does go over to Pengu, though, instead of over to one of the instead of the Olaf. So again, a little bit of over-aggression from the side of KTA. Another mistake, and he pays for it with his life.
So, yes. Started off, very good play from Yeye, sets up a pretty good bait, gets Pengu killed. Arrow has no respect for the Jhin damage, wastes his heal and dies. Really questionable play, really had no idea what he was doing. Kane goes top lane, initiates a gank with Malphite ult. Super Scyther whiffs flash, and then pretty much uses stopwatch for no reason, dies immediately afterwards. Kane, I'm pretty sure almost 100% is full on blue essence right now. And we'll see when he backs if he decides to go blue Kane. Don't like it, don't want to see it. Red Kane is infinitely better in this situation. If he goes blue Kane, basically trolling. But
based on what he's doing right now, clearing the jungle, I think he's just waiting that timer out and taking the red cane. I mean, there's really no reason for him to rush the form change into the blue here. You know, things are pretty much in a state where he can farm it out and wait.
We are going to see that he's going to line up for another gank here in the bot lane, which I think is smart. Yeye and Cheesecake are pretty strong right now, way stronger than Arrow and Pengu are. So we'll see if this turns into another set of kills for RDE here.
Yeah, and although we see a lot of this action in this top lane, it is something to note. Super Scyther has over double the CS from Virtual Trap. Harbinger going aggressive onto KTA again, chunking him out quite a bit. KTA just can't do much damage to this Volibear at this point in the game.
Yeah, this is unfortunately a byproduct of KTA's poor play so far. He has no gold because he's been consistently ganked. He's died, let's see, 2 times now. 2 really unnecessary deaths, both from poor play. And while he did manage to pick up the, oh wow, they're going to give the enemy red buff to the Harbinger here just to bully KTA and lane even harder.
Even more.
But KTA really doesn't have any respect for this Volibear. As I said earlier, he's getting these static field stuns down on him and then just sitting in melee range and eating bites. I mean, you can't do that. It's just, it doesn't, you know, that's not how you trade with that melee champion, unfortunately.
And this game is kind of just like an enigma to me. I mean, through CS, we do see that NFG currently has the gold lead, even though they are 3 kills down. Most of that is going to go on to, oh, here comes Harbinger. Noticing Pig on this ward here. Pig is forced to flash. But yeah, this game's a little weird for me. There's a lot of misplay from both sides. Yep, and we have another pause.
See another pause. Pig does have to flash away there. Does not have red form yet, so is exception. 1 second, they said. Is very susceptible to hard engage from Volibear Olaf. Good flash. Probably shouldn't have been there in the first place, though. And if this game is continuing, I will talk a minute about item choice from Super Scyther here. Decides to go with the Spellbinder first. Okay. Game is continuing. Both teams agree. So, on the topic of this Alex Spellbinder, I think it's a very poor item on the champion. Doesn't really have a place. I'm pretty sure it costs like almost 3k, if not more gold. I'm not very familiar with AP items. I don't understand why he didn't just go Ludens first. I mean, Ludens is so good on Lux. It gives you mana. It gives you, I think, 20% cooldown reduction with the unique haste passive. and the extra damage from the proc. And Lux is, a champion with not super great scalings, kind of low base damages. Very questionable build path here from a player who is already getting very punished for playing Lux top lane.
I definitely agree with you. I don't think you see that item on there. I mean, he opts to finish that over a I think the hourglass, even though it doesn't give you a lot of damage. As much as he's being focused on, that might have been I think that's even a better item to rush than the Spellbinder or the boots. He's sitting with the Dark Seal, doesn't have any potions to kind of do that. So yeah, Super Scyther's build is a little bit questionable at this point in time.
I would put it past a little bit questionable. Spellbinder is not a good item, and seeing it on a champion like Lux, who is a Luden's poke mage, is really just, you have to wonder what he's thinking. I mean, he's not setting himself up for success in this matchup. Or the game, really, honestly.
Yeah, and we're kind of reaching this critical point from the side of Red Dust. They kept this game close. You're going to see this Malphite finish the Abyssal Mask soon. What that's going to do is allow the Zyra, the Victor, to do more damage as well as himself, as well as getting that protection from the Lux. Kayn has to be close to red form at this point, and once he's red form, he's going to be able to do a lot more in terms of team fighting abilities. Jhin is 3-1, already completed his Stormrazor. Yeye is starting to get his Hourglass. I feel like NFG really needs to start pushing, or they're going to just get outscaled very quickly.
Yeah, I really want to see like a Herald play here. We'll see if KTA dies again.
Yeah, he's going to go down. Harbinger picks up another kill. KTA just not respecting what this Volibear can do.
Yeah, I don't think that Harbinger really had to flash there. I think Slivering Dingus had that on lock, but, style points, I guess. Why not?
I mean, he's already playing Volibear mid in a competitive game. Might as well style on and pick up the kill here.
I do want to see, I'm pretty sure this is going to be first tower here. We do see Pig come out in the Rost form.
I like that play from Pig. He went and just cleared the wave, and what that did was just immediately stop that siege on that mid turret.
Yeah, they left all pressure on the tower there, and are not going to be able to take that. Otherwise, what would have been a relatively easy first tower.
Ooh, we have a flash by Pengu, but kind of whiffs the combo here. The teleport coming through from Super Scyther. A nice ultimate from Yeye. They do see a lot of members there. There's a lot of damage here. Snap with the unstoppable force. Shutdown gold going over to Yeye. They're going to continue to get the root onto Harbinger. They want more. Oh my goodness. Slingering Dingus is one shot away. But ultimately, that's just going to be a one kill advantage over to the side of Red Dusk. That could have been cataclysmic for NFG right there. They are going to lose the Infernal Drake, though.
Yeah, I mean, and that's not even to talk about all the ults and summoner spells that got burned there as well. I mean, NFG is kind of running on empty for the next, 3 or 4 minutes on their flashes, and that's really what they need to make a play. I mean, Volibear flash, Alistar flash, that's pretty much what they're going to be using to initiate these fights, and they're going to be without them for quite a while. What I want to see here now is I want to see either like a 4 or 5 man group in RD bot lane to get this first tower from NFG, or sort of a Herald play I think would be pretty good as well. I think a well-placed Herald here from the side of RD could easily take 2 mid towers. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, the direction that I want RD to go for right now.
Yeah, I agree. And just kind of revisiting that last play, there's a few things that really made it turn out to go so bad. Pengu flashes in and kind of whiffs his combo, knocking Yeye to safety. And Yeye was able to just provide so much damage and CC in that fight to really turn it in their favor. You also see Super Scyther got his full combo off, but wasn't even able to do half health to Yeye in that situation. So a little bit of what we talked to going into effect, the Lux build, and then the kind of misplay on the side of Pengu right there.
Yeah, the directed camera kind of captured it a little bit for a second there, but if anybody was watching Lux's inventory, she used her 30 Spellbinder stacks to try and snipe KTA with her ult. So really just putting that Spellbinder to great use, showing how effective that item really is.
Yeah, they do end up taking that first turret in the mid lane. Harbinger is going to challenge Pig. Pig's able to just kind of walk away. Now we see 4 members of the four members kind of grouping. Oh no, this is all 5 members, and they're going to go ahead and take this second turret, tier 1 in the bot lane. So good macro play from the side of NFG, getting 2 turrets. And if we go ahead and go up to that top lane, you see Virtual Trap just slugging away at that turret, but he's not doing damage in time. However, we do see Kayn going ahead and going towards his Herald.
Yeah, this is definitely the play that I want to see. Virtual Trap, while he doesn't do much damage, is eventually going to take that tower, and Herald is close and already started, so they're going to have that on lock. RD playing from a gold deficit right now, I don't think it really matters that much. They do have the Infernal Drake, which is worth a sizable amount of gold for their team. You know, they're getting benefit from it on their support.
Oh, KTA mid again, just out of position, gonna go down. It just depends on who's gonna take the kill, and that's gonna be Arrow getting the kill on KTA mid. And
unfortunately for our friend Spellbinder Lux, KTA mid was volley bear flipped out of her ultimate.
Yeah, Spellbinder Lux trying to get something going. So we do see the side of Red Dust taking this bot tier 1 in response. We do see that the Kayn did pick up that Herald. So I like, even though they're down to 1,000 gold at this point, I think they have a decent amount of map pressure.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, technically they are playing from a gold deficit here, but thanks to the Infernal Drake, I don't think it matters. I was talking about this a little bit before. KTA kind of got railed in the mid lane there. But pretty much every member of RD, except for really the Malphite, gets a pretty significant bonus from this Infernal Drake. I mean, Zyra, while technically a support, is still probably going to build damage because she's a mage. So she's going to benefit from the increased AP. Oh, great
and there's
snare.
the combo. Good snare, followed immediately by the ult. Basically solo kills Arrow there, and the Hourglass is going to keep her alive. That's going to be another double kill to the bot lane of that. But once again, Slivering Dingus just abusing KTA mid. Another kill. That's a rampage for him here. So trading kills there. But we were just kind of mentioning that this bot lane is getting very strong for the side of Red Dusk.
Yeah, RDE apparently doesn't like me being right tonight because as much as I said that I think that Arrow and Pengu is the better bot lane over Cheesecake Yeye, Yeye and Cheesecake are absolutely tearing this game apart. I mean, you could make the argument that Yeye is basically solo carrying this game right now. And, you know, I would be inclined to agree with you.
Yeah, Yeye, again, we kind of talked about it in Champ Select. This is his pocket pick, go-to. He is comfortable blind picking this into whatever support, and it shows why. And it kind of shows a little bit, interestingly enough, why didn't they go with this in the first round? They ended up with opting for the Braum. But I don't think Yeye is going to be able to see that again if this game goes to Game 3.
Yeah, I would. If this does go to Game 3, I would expect that to be the first thing banned. Yeye is just too good on it, especially into Aaron Pengu.
Ooh, Hybrid going really aggressive on the Cheesecake. Nothing there to stop him there. A bit of over-aggression, in my opinion. Very close to dying. Wow, he did get out of there. We do see ults all around. Cheesecake ends up taking a kill. He's on a killing spree. Olaf ends up killing Yeye. He's shut down over to the side of Pig. So ultimately, that's 2 down for the price of 1. That's a lot of gold and a lot of advantage going over to Red Dusk.
Yeah, unfortunately, Spellbinder Lux didn't really show up for that fight.
Yeah. Super Scyther thinking he's playing Teemo once again, just kind of on split push duty right now.
I really have to question what role Super Scyther fills in this team comp right now. He can't play the poke mage role because he doesn't have a Ludens. He's never going to burst as hard as an actual, sort of assassin or some of the more bursty control mages would. I just very, very questionable play and build choice from him. And I think it's. I seem to be harping on it a lot because it does. I do think that it's a pretty big misplay, but I'm not sure that Super Scyther really understands how big of a misplay this is. He's contributing almost no damage to the team right now because of his item choice. I really think that he needs to sell the Spellbinder and just try and recoup some of the loss.
Yeah, so you guys heard it here first. Don't dare buy a Spellbinder in front of Cinco Gazer. You're going to make him very angry.
Yes, I am very upset right now. One
So-
could say that I am definitely triggered.
Yeah, so during the Spellbinder rant part 4, we did notice that NFG was able to push Red Dusk off of the Dragon and pick up a Cloud Drake. This is going to help out the kind of run at you full force comp that they have with the Olaf and the Volibear. Now, my concern with NFG is at this point in the game, you're going to start seeing the Volibear fall off as well as the Olaf. So I think they're in kind of critical territory to make something happen.
Yeah, Volibear is at that point where it's really all or nothing. When he is going to commit to a fight now, there's very little chance that he walks away from it unless it's like an ace.
Yeah. That being said, here comes the Ragnarok pop from Olaf. He's not going to be able to pick up the kill onto Cheesecake. Although Virtual Trap is kind of out on his own, he does have the Unstoppable Force available to him, but he's not going to be able to pop it in time. Arrow picks up a kill there. In the meantime, here comes KTA. Harbinger going all in on him once again. Is going to be able to get the field down and his ultimate, but he is taken low again. He's going to go down once again. KTA mid is just getting abused by this run at you comp.
Yeah, I'm a little curious as to why Slivering didn't commit harder to the Jhin kill. I think one more axe and another Reckless Swings, I believe, is the Olaf E true damage ability, would have easily killed him. I would have liked to have seen him go a little bit more aggressive there, because I think that having that Jhin on the map right now, whereas he probably would have just been coming up, it kind of a big momentum loss for them.
Yeah, and I don't know if he was just scared not knowing where other members of Red Dusk were on the map, but I mean, just as I say that NFG needs to get something going, they do make quite a good amount of plays on the map. We do see another kill in the mid lane, tower taking top, so they're keeping this game interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, the gold lead is flip-flopping back and forth quite a bit here. We see it again in NFG's favor, about 1,000 gold. It's going to be interesting to see how hard the sort of like soft timer on NFG's comp kicks in, especially because Arrow is so far behind right now. Basically does like no damage, and Jhin is only getting stronger and stronger as the game goes. So you know, we're really going to need to see NFG pull some pretty crazy stuff if they really want to walk away with this victory and not take it to Game 3.
Yeah, so let's kind of revisit what we're thinking here. I know Arrow's going to eventually do a lot of damage now that he has Blade finished and the Guinsoo's finished. But you could argue KTA mid is almost as wow. And there's the damage for you. Arrow picks up a very clean kill on the Yaya. They are going to turn to this Baron here. But as I was mentioning, I think one could argue that KTA mid is probably less effective than Super Scyther at this point, now that he has finished that Luden Echo.
Yeah, KTA is really just having a bad game, unfortunately.
We do see the Kayn did kind of float around the Baron pit, gets a little bit of vision. Bangu Penguin's going to go aggressive here. The chain's going to go from Arrow, but the fight is split in half here. Unstoppable Force gets to the back line. There's really no one to finish off, though. Pango going low. He is going to go down. You see Arrow is still doing a lot of damage. Super Scyther does pick up Virtual Trap, but we did see Killing Spree going over to Pig. He's going to re-engage here. There's not really much they can do. This fight is still going. You see how much damage Cheesecake is doing on this Jhin, and they're forced to back off of this Baron, and that's a good play from the side of Red Dusk Esports.
Yeah, pretty good play from RD there. We did see Jhin hit all 4 shots on his ultimate, which did allow them to kill Alistair and actually almost secure the kill on Arrow as well. I think that Cheesecake should have committed harder there at the end. He had almost full HP, and while Super Scyther is going to do a fair bit of damage just because Cheesecake is a squishy 80 carry, I think that one more bullet would have definitely killed him, and then it would have only been like maybe even just one more auto to kill Arrow as well with the amount of HP that he had. So I think perhaps RD is pulling their punches a little too much. I want to see them really just be very forceful just because I think that their team comp is way stronger right now. Despite the fact that that Olaf is still a pretty big threat, I think a well-timed Malphite ultimate on Super Scyther and Arrow is going to pretty much put a stop to any damage they would be able to do.
Yeah, and I agree. And I think the only thing that didn't just have them almost clean ace that fight is the fact that Yeye was already dead. If Yeye had that follow-up damage after that Malphite ultimate, I think that fight would have just been over before it even started.
Yeah, unfortunately, Yeye did get caught at the beginning of that, so he wasn't there for it. But if he is, it's a totally different story, 100%. We are going to see Dragon spawn here in about 4 seconds. It is another Ocean Drake, likely to be picked up for RD here. They have map priority, so... Or not RD, NFG, I meant.
Now you do see the bot lane of NFG is backing here. Super Scyther missing both of his skills to kind of...
Unfortunately, I believe that actually would have been a kill for them if they had landed.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, it is secured from the Kayn there, although they're looking to fight here. Dingus, let's see if he pops the Ragnarok. He hasn't done so yet. Has popped the Righteous Glory, and the Predator. We're kind of just in this limbo situation here. I don't think they want to start this fight yet without the bot lane. Yeah, they're just gonna kind of do a quick run around here, but that's Ragnarok down from Dingus. And if I were Red Dusk, I would look to engage here.
Yeah, not really sure what Dingus was thinking there. He kind of screwed around a little too much. They either needed to go in there or not, and they kind of got caught in this little half and half where they committed some of the Olaf stuff, and now he doesn't have ult for this fight.
Now they are going to go and re-engage the fight. Their first target is KTA mid, not doing a lot of damage. It is going to go down to Slivering Dingus here. You see the Malphite onto the back line, but Arrow's going to melt through him. He's on a killing spree. Harbinger is continuing this fight. Now they're going to look for Baron once again with the Victor and Malphite down. Now it's a 3v5. So
they are going to look for Baron, but the only ults they have up left are Final Spark and Chains of Corruption. So yeah. I think there is potential here for RD to put a stop to this.
Especially if the Jhin is able to get some poke damage off before that goes down. Not enough damage to kind of meta here. Here comes the Chain of Corruption going on to the jungler here. Kayn is going to be able to shut down Slivering Dingus, and that's another successful Baron defense from the side of Red Dusk Esport.
Yeah, Kayn really showing how strong of a champion he can be right there.
Yeah, and they're kind of forced to back off here. But as I'm seeing here, Arrow's starting to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, Arrow is scaling up fast, but as soon as Jhin gets his 4th item, I think that NFG really has a timer at that point.
Yeah, I agree here. We do see Harbinger running again, opting not to do anything too much, just kind of spooking them off and defending this turret in the mid lane.
Yeah, so interesting turn of events here. It is approaching that 32-minute mark, and RD does not look really anywhere close to being able to end this game at this point. So unfortunately, my prediction is wrong yet again. I still have not managed to get a single one of those correct, but you know we're gonna keep on trucking.
Yeah, the problem is for RDE at this point. Yes, Jin's ahead. Yes, Kayn's ahead. But if you look in the mid lane, KTA mid, he has his Hex Core finished, Perfect Hex Core. He has his Sorcerer Shoes.
Yes, but he does not have a single complete item, I believe is what you were going to say.
That's exactly what I was going to say. So he's so far behind. He's almost useless right now. You see Super Scyther has a complete 100 CS gold lead on that, so he's going to start doing damage. Virtual Trap does find Slippery Dingus. He is going to force to pop the Ragnarok here, so that's another important cooldown down for the side of NFG going into this next siege. Wow, and there's the damage.
There we go.
Hey, Cinco, how do you like my Spellbinder now, sir? As he blows him up.
In my defense, after this fight...
Yeah, the fight isn't going. Harbinger running, getting into the faces of him there, going extremely low. We kind of have a joint fight here. Dingus is able to pick up Jhin. Kayn is on the back line. They're doing a pretty good job of healing for Arrow. Arrow gets shut down gold. He is super strong now. And now we see once again Oh, here comes the flash, and that's another kill from Super Scyther. Super Scyther is on a killing spree here. Okay, and here we go once again. They're going to go to Baron once again. Let's see if they're able to take it this time. Four members of the side
I think
of...
they have it this time. So, as the euphemism goes, the third time is the charm. So, really poor play from RD here. I mean, I think that this is pretty much the turning point. I'm not really sure they have an in back into this game anymore. A lot of this can really be chalked up to KTA's just almost abysmal play this series. It's really just been very, very poor. He is constantly out of position. He lost lane to Volibear mid lane. I think one thing that needs to be said is that RD 100% should have lane swapped on the first back. KTA should have went top lane, and Virtual Trap should have went mid lane. KTA would have had a much better time against Lux than he would have against Volibear. So not only was he not set up for success, he also had all of those misplays, which really cost him. I mean, as you said, he's being Flame Horizon by top lane Lux, basically.
Yeah, and yeah, so what you see here, like you said, the Flame Horizon, you see a huge CS lead for the Volibear over the mid laner. You see a massive CS lead from Super Scyther, and what they did is they were just able to farm up, kind of choke out the Malphite and the Victor, and neither of those champions are having that much of an impact. I say that kind of hesitantly because as long as Malphite has his R key and pushes it correctly, he can literally change a fight in 1 second. So, yeah, it's that lane allocation from the side of NFG really is paying off in this late game.
It's just unfortunate because I think that it was a very simple mistake that I think in the end is actually going to end up costing them the game.
Yeah, they do pick up another turret in this bot lane. You do see the gold lead swell to about 6,000 over towards the side of NFG. And now Elder Drake is up, and that's what their next objective is, really with no contest from RD.
Yeah, RD cannot do anything anymore. I mean, it's a 5k gold lead, Baron and Elder. I think it's safe to say that RD is going to have to play their hearts out to win this one, which I'm not sure is possible. I think they're just too far behind, and it's either going to end very, very rapidly or very, very slowly.
Yeah, I think if you're the side of NFG, I think you have to understand that you want to end this game really quickly. There's still a chance that they can kind of scale up, but if they can just push down bot here, I don't think there's anything that Red Dusk can do to stop them.
No, I think we're likely to see a Predator Righteous Glory Ragnarok play here, where Slivering Dingus just runs into the back lane or the back line and kills everybody with the Elder Dragon buff. I think it's really just a matter of maybe it being like a couple of seconds until this happens. So we'll see what happens.
With this second wave, this would be where I would expect this dive to go. However, they don't have Super Scyther. Super Scyther is just a split push genius. He does pick up the turret in the top lane.
Honestly, I think I probably would have went in there for the dive anyway. Super Scyther can still contribute to the fight with his ultimate, whether it be sort of, I mean, zoning ult meme aside, that is a thing that people can do, and obviously Luxold is very effective at that. It's also possible that he just hits a squishy for like 1,000
Here is
damage.
the play.
The dive.
Yeah, you saw Kane in the top lane dealing with Lux there, and this is where they're going to pop. Just going through, there's Pengu getting down onto him. Harbinger going low. Arrow is not dead yet. He's going to go down. This is the fight that...
Footwork. Olaf went in, but didn't really have any damage to back up his threat. So it's kind of getting to that point where Olaf is really just sort of a run at you and beat an inconvenience bot.
Yeah. So, I mean, interestingly enough, I think what it was is kind of a lack of communication and coordination from the side of NFG. You saw the Olaf kind of run at KTA mid, and Volibear was initially with him and then kind of like split off and did his own thing. So it split the fight up, and what really kind of made it happen was Cheesecake staying alive and pumping out a ton of damage, and then obviously Pig getting onto the back line of NFG there and really just took advantage of that fight.
Yeah, Pig is just an absolute monster in the series so far. I mean, he's only been in this one game, but he's already showing how much of a threat he is on that cane.
Yeah. Yeah, Pig having a very good performance as well. So we kind of have a small reset here. The next objective is going to be Baron in about 2 minutes here. I think that might actually decide the game. I don't think RDE is as far out as it seems now at this point.
No, there's definitely an in for them back in this game, but I think it hinges very heavily on whether or not Pig can get his GA in time. Because that is a very big power spike for Red Cane, especially because you can come up out of GA, immediately land like a knockup and a full spell rotation to get all your health back. So I think it's very important that he get this GA before Baron. And we also do see that Cheesecake did not lose his GA in that fight, which is also going to be very important. There he is on screen, Pig with the GA. So.
Yep. So GA is coming through, Pig with his GA, Cheesecake with his. You see Arrow has his finished. So like this fight is going to draw out, and as well as Olaf. I don't know, his GA is also as well. So the next fight's going to be definitely a extended fight.
Yeah, important to note that Arrow is full build right now. He has four offensive items, a GA, and boots. And Cheesecake is not. I do not believe that he has actually completed his last item. He just has the pickaxe.
Yeah. Well.
Oh wait, no. He has the Infinity Edge now.
Yep. Just
so
locked in.
This is a 40-minute game, 2 full build 80 carries. Both of them absolute late game monstrosities. So it's really gonna be how their team can play around them.
Mm-hmm. And what's kind of spooky for NFG at this point is that carry having that GA, so that run at you volley bear Olaf, although he might pop the GA, it might not be enough to keep Cheesecake out of the fight.
They're just going to go immediately onto this Baron, and RDE is in nowhere near the correct positioning that they have to be contest this. So this is going to go over to NFG, no contest.
Wow. That might be bad. I mean, that's just a lack of understanding what's happening on the map, in my opinion. They are going to go for this fight. Slippering Dingus pops the Ragnarok. Virtual Trap is looking for it. Chain of Corruption going through. He still has the Unstoppable Force, although Super Scyther picks it up. He's on a rampage. Here comes Volleybear running into the backline. KTA is going to go down. The perspective GAs are popped from both the junglers. Next target's going to be Kane. If he's not able to survive and pick up a kill here, he is shut down from Arrow. Cheesecake, however, is still alive, does have his GA. Now it's 5 members of NFG versus the bot lane of Red Dusk Esports. They are going to push through the bot lane and or top lane and try to end this game. And I honestly don't think there's anything. Oof. Wow, Super Scyther doing damage. They're going to turn there. That's going to be game. And the series, that's going to go ahead and go over to the side of NFG. Very well played. That, I don't know what you think, but that was such a fun game to watch.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting. I mean, I did eat my words from the Spellbinder Lux. You know, I just get some oofs in chat for that one, but Super Scyther played a pretty great game there by the end of it. Really, I mean, we talked a lot about how much damage Arrow was doing with that full build and stuff, but I do want to take a look at the damage charts here.
Yeah, so if we do take a look at that damage chart, obviously the Jhin did the fair most amount of damage in the game, almost 38k, followed closely by Varus from Arrow. He had about 32k here. Interestingly enough, the Volley Bear just dealing a ton of damage in that game.
So yeah, I think a lot of that last loss on the side of RDE really had to hinge with how weak Virtual Trap was on that Malphite, along with all the misplays that KTA made, and just his general not really up to snuff play from what we usually see from KTA. I really think that not picking Yasuo there was a mistake, 100%.
Yeah.
It really is a shame, because I think that if they had gone with Yasuo, they would have had another very significant damage threat, which was really, I mean, almost ironically what they were lacking in the end. Despite all the damage that Jhin and Pig did, I think obviously Jhin with the first and Pig with the third most damage in the game, they really just weren't able to kill the tanks at the end of the game, and Arrow was able to just kind of clean sweep the last team fight along with Super Scyther.
Yeah, so a very well played series from the side of NFG. Now is that time. Who do you think deserves the MVP award tonight for NFG?
That's a tricky one. I'm probably gonna have to give it to Harbinger. Yeah. I mean, he played amazing in the first game, and he had a very convincing performance on Volibear mid of all things in the second game. So I think Harbinger, no doubt in my mind, 100%.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you on that one. He played really well, showed his flexibility going into that mid lane. However, I do want to give a quick kind of honorable mention to Slivering Dingus, because he was able to handle KTA in game one and then moved over into the jungle and had a pretty strong performance. So he would be my runner-up if we had to pick that.
Yeah, I agree. If there was definitely a runner-up, it would be Slivering Dingus. And shouts out to him for being, being a great flex player, really holding his own in the mid, and then having a very convincing showing on the jungle Olaf pick, and really was the only reason that NFG was able to hang into that game for so long.
Yeah. Well, that being said, we are joined from the top laner / mid laner of NFG, Harbinger. How are you doing tonight?
Oh man, I'm fucking jacked. How are you guys doing? Oh, sorry, my bad. I'm freaking jacked. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good here. So we'll get you. We'll go ahead and ask you a few questions here. So take me through the process of that Game 2 draft. What was the deal with the Volibear?
Okay, so believe it or not, Volibear is really good at taking down squishy targets. And I knew that once we had banned out a lot of the mid lane's champions, he would have to default to something that he's not the greatest at. And like that just makes my playstyle even better. And if he was going to go for a mage, all I knew I had to do was build a Spectre's Cowl, go into Merc Treads, Righteous Glory, and then boom, easy peasy. Literally all we had to do was just take the mid lane out of the game.
Yeah. So did you guys plan on running you Volibear mid that entire time, or was that
I had to beg my AD carry to let me do it because he was so adamant to not let me play Volibear mid. And I just kept saying, let me do it, let me do it, let me do it. Because I knew I could do well with it. And it's a curveball because since he's not played a whole lot, nobody's going to know what to do with him. And it worked out well.
It definitely did. I'm going to be honest. Me and Cinco Gazer were both kind of at a loss for words in that draft phase. There's a lot of strong picks that you've shown how good you can be on, with the Aatrox being up. Fiora, Darius, those are two champions that kind of do well into tanks. It kind of left us scratching our heads, but you definitely proved us wrong there. Cinco, do you have any questions for Harbinger?
Hey, I am a little bit curious as to why you didn't just go with the Aatrox mid. He's also a pretty respectable mid laner in and of his own right, and you had a very, very convincing performance on him the first game. So I am still a little confused, but I mean, obviously, you had an amazing game. It worked out well for you in the end. So what were your thoughts on really picking the Volibear over the Aatrox?
Dude, I just wanted to play something different. I was getting bored. After that last game, it wasn't really much of a challenge playing Aatrox. Yeah, it's fun to pub stomp, but it's I want something to I like to throw curveballs, make them really think what the heck's going on.
All right, that's respectable. I can appreciate that.
All right, so with that win, you guys move into this kind of fourth place, fifth place kind of area with Phoenix Rising. You're kind of battling it out there. Close enough to Schism in the third place as well. Who do you guys play this next week?
I have honestly no clue.
All right, well, let me rephrase
it doesn't really matter, though. We're going to win no matter what.
All
right. We're going all the way, man.
Going all the way. You heard it from Harbinger. He's ready. Oh, wait, yeah, we play Schism. We play you. All right, I see how it goes here.
Woo,
so
better watch out, man.
We might have to ban away the Volibear. We saw the pick here. Well, congratulations on the victory and congratulations on the MVP and performance. Are there any shout outs that don't include certain 4-letter words that you'd like to have before we end the stream?
you know, shout out to Arrow for finally letting me play my Volibear. I got to give it to him. Even though he was hard stuck not wanting me to do it, I actually am very grateful that he let me play it.
All right. Well, you heard it here, guys. Thank you, Harbinger, for joining us tonight. Congratulations once again. We will see you soon in that Schism matchup.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck on the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Have a good night, man.
You too, guys. Thank you.
All right. They're going to wrap up the stream there. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I know we had another very successful stream, and we want to thank all your viewers for sticking with us and showing up here. Take a minute to like the stream. If you have your Amazon Prime, subscribe. Come chat with us in Discord. We're friendly people. We have a lot of fun here. My name is Evolve. I've been on the play-by-play. I was joined by my co-caster, Cinco Gazer, and the man behind the curtain, Nick. Cinco, do you have anything to say before we sign off?
Just to make sure that everybody tunes in at 10:15 EST tomorrow night for the Phoenix Rising versus Furious Gents game.
Oh, that's another good series. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are signing off for the night.